Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Toby.
Good
Can you
afternoon.
see there is one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's clear
Clearly,
now?
sir. Yes, sir. Your voice is also clear.
Okay. Joby, some people are asking for a WebEx link, this webinar link.
Sir, just forward me those numbers. I can send that.
I got this SMS. Shall I forward that only?
Yes, sir. Sure, sure.
Joby, otherwise note down in. 1 second. Wait.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅದೇ ಯಾರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಅದೇ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
Madam, can I stop sharing? 1 second, for 5 minutes. Hello?
Ansa, Deepika joined. Did you call her? Ansa?
Yes, ma'am.
Deepika?
She's not joined yet, ma'am. I'll just check.
Hmm.
ಹಾಂ ಸರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಬಿಕಾಸ್
Joby, she's an attendee or panelist?
Ma'am, I think I sent her attendee. We just have to unmute.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, Deepika has joined, ma'am. If you could just unmute her.
Yeah. Deepika, okay, you are there. Fine. I'll unmute you, okay? Is it, Deepika?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Rani sir, we'll start the event.
Yes, Ansa. If everything is ready, we'll start.
Yes, sir. Brian Herbert once said, and I quote, "The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. The willingness to learn is a choice." Good evening to one and all present here. I, Ansa Matthew, research scholar, Department of Mathematics, Christ, deemed to be University, on behalf of the entire Department of Mathematics, warmly welcome you all to the webinar on an introductory course on fluid dynamics. Prayers work in wondrous ways and is considered as the harbinger of blessed beginnings. Thus, I request Ms. Deepika, MSc student, Department of Mathematics, to lead us into invocation with a prayer song. Over to you, Deepika.
Yes, thank you. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together. Bind us together with love. We are the family of God. We are the promise divine. We are God's chosen desire. We are the glorious new one. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together with cords that cannot be broken. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together. Bind us together in love.
Thank you, Deepika. I now request Jovi McCollum, research scholar, Department of Mathematics, Price, deemed to be University, to give the welcome address.
A very warm good afternoon to all. Respected Dr. Maima Joseph, Head, Department of Mathematics, Christ deemed to be University. Dear teachers, participants, and my dear friends. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted all of our lives. But by coming together on this online platform, we have converted this situation into an opportunity. An opportunity to share knowledge, to learn new things, and to enrich our skills. I'm sure that these intellectual discussions by the subject experts will lead to new ideas in all the participants. Now let me come to my duty. The chief guest for the day is Dr. Maima Joseph, Head, Department of Mathematics, Christ deemed to be University. She is the spearhead of our department, and her zeal and enthusiasm has led to the holistic development of all departmental activities. In the name of all of us, I cordially welcome you, ma'am. The session experts for the introductory course on fluid dynamics are Dr. Pradeep G. Siteshwar, Dr. S. Pranesh, Dr. Smita S. Nagauda, and Dr. Mahantesh B. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with the participants, and let these ideas ignite the interest of the participants. In the name of all of us, I extend a hearty welcome to all the session experts. I would also like to welcome the faculty members of the department who constantly supported us for the execution of this event. A warm welcome to you all. Now, with immense pleasure, I would like to welcome all the participants from various parts of the world. We have received more than 1,500 registrations, and this was really encouraging to us. I hope that this course will be very beneficial to you. I would deem my duty to be unfulfilled if I did not welcome my team of research scholars who helped me to execute this event. A warm welcome to you all. Welcoming you all once again, I remain. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joby, for your warm welcome. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Mayama Joseph, Head, Department of Mathematics, Christ Deemed to be University. She is the epitome of simplicity and enthusiastic learner who guides young minds to strive for excellence. Ma'am, I request you to say a few words.
Thank you, Ansa. Thank you very, very much. Yes, your enthusiasm is my life, my energy. Respected colleagues, dear research scholars, and very dear participants. It gives me immense joy to wish you all the very best for a fruitful learning exercise through this 9-day seminar on basics of fluid mechanics. This introductory course in fluid dynamics has been conceived as a reach out program of the Department of Mathematics at Christ Deemed to be University in accordance with our mission to organize, create, connect, and communicate mathematical ideas effectively. And we are truly blessed with a strong team of leading researchers such as PGS sir, Ganesh sir, Mahandesh sir, and Smithama. The manner in which this particular seminar has been organized itself is an indication how passionate they are in promoting research and reaching out to more people through knowledge sharing. Instead of just having a 2 or 3 day workshop, they opted for a 9-day program so that even a novice, a beginner would understand the fundamentals of fluid mechanics, and then they would be able to definitely explore further. So I'm very positive that this 9-day exploration would be like exploring 9 planets, and you would definitely will be entering into a galaxy of wonders. So it's such a pleasure to see all the research scholars of fluid mechanics group also supporting and effectively managing the entire event through the WebEx portal. So I wish all the participants a wonderful learning experience, and to the competent team led by Pranesh sir and PJ sir, a very fruitful and interactive session, and we look forward to have many of you as our future researchers at mathematics to our, and a hearty welcome to our mathematics family at Christ University. Once again, wishing everyone all the very best. I remain. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for your words of encouragement and motivation. Dear participants, I would like to bring to your kind notice that due to some unavoidable circumstances, there is a change in today's event. Today's session would be delivered by Dr. S. Pranish. We also request all the participants to enter or post your queries to all the panelists, not just to the host or the presenter. I request Joby McCollum to welcome the speaker for the day.
I'm really happy to introduce the session expert for the day. The session expert for the day is Dr. S. Pranish. He completed his MSc and PhD from Bangalore University and is an active researcher in the field of fluid dynamics. He has published more than 60 articles in various internationally acclaimed journals. He has also been the keynote speaker and presenter of various international conferences. Now, without further ado, I invite Dr. S. Pranish to share his valuable knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Joby. Share the first content. Thank you once again, Joby, for that introduction. Thank you, Maima Madam, for your wishes and motivating all of us to conduct this webinar. So I also thank my fellow resource person, Dr. PGS Sir, Smita Madam, and Mantesh. So with the cooperation of all these resource person, we can able to come up with a course, introductory course on fluid dynamics. So first we thought that this is a very basic, what we are giving is a very basic course, okay? So for a beginner, you can tell. So this we thought that is required because when the students comes to MSc level and they don't know anything about the fluid dynamics. And even in the MSc level also, it is only 1 or 2 papers are introduced in the course. So we thought that let me start this introductory course so that even some of the teacher, I am very happy to see that there are about 50% of the participants, around 50% are faculty members. So I'm very happy. That is encouraging for us. All faculty members are joining this. And we thought that this can also be introduced as once if this introductory course, if you feel happy, we can introduce this in the undergraduate level also as one of the either is now the UGC requires that there should be some elective papers in the undergraduate course. We can even think of introducing this as elective paper. But what we are giving you is a purely a basic, a very introductory, a basic thing, starting from the scratch. What is fluid, what is mechanics? We thought of doing that from the very basic things from this year. Okay? So, so this is what we thought that about the fluid dynamics this webinar. And let me see what are the objectives of this webinar here. So it is as I told you now, it is to understand the basic concepts of fluid mechanics, very basic concepts of fluid mechanics, and to recognize the various types of fluid flow problems encountered in practice, different methods of describing the motions of a fluid, what is rate of change in fluid mechanics. It is not the usual one what we write rate of change. And then we are dealing with the conservation laws. There are 4 conservation laws: conservation of mass, conservation of linear momentum, conservation of angular momentum, and conservation of energy. And all this conservation of laws will be in the form of a partial differential equation. And to solve this, we need some conditions. So we also touch about what is initial and boundary conditions. And also we talk about the very important concept in fluid mechanics, the non-dimensionalization, the importance of dimensional homogeneity of the equations. So, and also non-dimensional, because some of you already know that the entire concept of fluid mechanics, we start with we study with the non-dimensional parameters. So how to get that non-dimensional parameter? There are some important concepts are there, Buckingham pi theorem, etc. So that is this is the objective of ours. So as I told you again, I'm repeating that we are doing a very basic elementary course, introductory course to this fluid dynamics. Okay, so where do you find the fluids and fluid dynamics? So you can see in blood arteries, within our human body, the flow of blood. We find that it all depends upon the fluid dynamics. Then we have the interfacial, this one, the aerodynamics, that also will have this fluid dynamics concept is only based on fluid dynamics concept. Oceanography, that is another important area where these fluid dynamics concepts are used. Then it is in the laminar, or we can have in laminar or turbulent flows. What is laminar flow? Laminar flow is a flow in which there is a regular pattern. Turbulent, there is no regular pattern into that. And also in solidification of solids. Okay, in solidification of solids also we come across fluid dynamics. Not only here, we come across in environmental science, which is one of the important branch of fluid mechanics, that is atmospheric science. So you want to study the environmental hazards like floods, air pollution, transport of containments and other things, we use these fluid dynamics concepts. And also the interaction of various objects with the surroundings, air and water, and the complex flows, heat exchangers, even in chemical reactors. So all this thing we use that we are having the concepts of fluid dynamics. So when you look at that, almost each and every point or every place in our daily life, we come across fluid dynamics, even from breathing, drinking of water, the blood, as I explained, blood flow, everything is based on the fluid dynamic concept. So it is very important for us to know how the fluid dynamics concepts will be applied to these things. So before we do that, we just have some of the very important elementary concepts. This for some of the because we thought of including some of the very basic concepts, because there are some students are there and some research scholars are there. Let them know about all these things. Okay? And you know that the matter exists in three forms: solid, liquid, and gaseous. So arrangement of atoms in all the three are different. Based on that only we say it is a solid, liquid, or gaseous. Okay. So when you take about the solids, the molecules in the solids have a repeated pattern there. You can look at the figure here. The A represents the solid, where the molecules are relatively fixed position, and the pattern also will be there. Okay. And the second one is the liquid, the B. You can see that the molecular groups move from each other in a liquid phase, and this is because even the molecules in this liquid phase can rotate or translate freely. And in the third case, that is the C, is the gaseous, where individual molecules will move about randomly, and the molecules are far apart from each other, and molecular ordering it will not exist in the gaseous stage. So what we observe here is in the solid we have a definite pattern, so that is because of the intermolecular bonds. So we can conclude that in solids we have a strong intermolecular bonds, and in gas it is the weakest intermolecular bonds we have. So next, suppose if we take a liquid and a gas here. So when you fill the liquid, the liquid will form the free surface, but gas will not form a free surface. And also you know the another important concept, that the liquid will occupy the shape of a container, but gas will not occupy the shape of a container. So because in liquids the molecules can move relative to each other, and volume remains relatively a constant, because of the strong cohesive force that exists between the two molecules here. So as a result of this, the liquid always takes the shape of a container, and it forms a free surface in a larger container in the gravitational field. Okay, the free surface, you can see it is an interface between the liquid and a air here. Okay, so that will form a free surface here. But what happens in gas? The gas expands until it encounters the wall of the container. Correct? You are all familiar with this. When the gas will expand till the wall of a container and fills the entire available space there. This is because the gas molecules are widely spread, and the cohesive force between the two molecules are very small. So the gas is in the open container, because of this, will not form any free surface. So this is the main difference between the liquid and a gas here. Okay, and this formation of free surface is also one of the important concepts in fluid dynamics. The later stages you will come to know about this here. Okay, so let's see the next part here. So what is the actual difference between the liquid and a gas? Let me see what is the difference between the liquid and a gas. So in a liquid, you can see it is difficult to compress the liquid. That is why generally we call them as incompressible. Okay, so whenever we take that liquid, so we call them that whatever the fluid we take it as incompressible fluid. But in gases, it is easy to compress, and the changes of volume is very significant in the gases. And so, as I explained now, the liquid occupies the fixed volume, and it will take the shape of a container. But what happens in the gas? There is no fixed volume. It changes the volume as it expands to fill the entire container here. And as I explained earlier, the free surface is formed if the volume of the container is greater than that of the liquid. Always this is the important concept. Whenever the volume of the container is greater than that of the liquid, there is a free surface. Actually, remember, free surface is the interface between the liquid and a gas, liquid and a air here. And in the case of gases, you will not find the free surface, because the entire vessel or the entire container is filled with the gases here. So now what is fluid mechanics here? So we'll talk this fluid mechanics in two parts, fluid plus mechanics. Okay, so fluid plus mechanics will actually form a fluid mechanics. So what is fluid? A fluid is a substance which can deform continuously when the forces are applied. Okay, so there, in the case of a fluid, there is a continuous deformation of happening. What happens in a solid when you apply a force? These solids, we cannot have a continuous deformation. The reason is they resist the applied forces. Solids always resist the applied force by deforming itself here. But we will not find that in the case of a fluid. Okay? So under the influence of any force here, there is a continuous deformation. And fluid, that is the reason fluid involves both liquid as well as a gas here. Okay. So fluid in general, we can define that as a substance which undergoes a continuous deformation on applying a force here. Okay. So, and as I said, fluids will include the gas and a liquid. So what is mechanics here? So this mechanics, you are observing that from it's one of the oldest physical science, and it deals with both the stationary as well as the moving objects under the influence of any force. So a branch of mechanics that deals with the body which is at rest. So as I told you, mechanics deals with both stationary as well as the moving object. The branch of mechanics that deals with the objects or the bodies which are at rest, we call them as statics, and the branch that deals the bodies which is in motion, we call them as dynamics. So the subcategory of this, so as I told in the beginning, fluid mechanics means it is a fluid plus mechanics here. Now, as a subcategory, the fluid mechanics is now we can define as it is a science which deals with the behavior of fluids which is at rest. When I say rest, it is nothing but a fluid statics, or in motion, which is nothing but a fluid dynamics. So when we talk about fluid mechanics, we deal with both this concept, fluid statics plus fluid dynamics. So generally, we define this fluid dynamics, fluid mechanics as it is a science which deals with the behavior of fluids. As the name itself will give that is a fluid. It is a behavior of fluids which is at rest or in motion. Okay, so this is the general definition for a fluid mechanics here. So when we talk about the fluid mechanics here, there are several branches of fluid mechanics will come into the picture. So what are the branches we have here? The first one is hydrodynamics. So what is this hydrodynamics deals with? It deals with the motion of a fluid that can be approximated as incompressible. Later we are explaining you. So if the density remains constant, we say it is incompressible. So that in the later stage, when we talk about that conservation of laws, we can just talk about this constant density also. Okay, so we include this part there. So what is hydrodynamics? It is a motion of a fluid that can be approximated as a incompressible, that is with a constant density. This is one branch of fluid mechanics. There is another branch. The next one is hydraulics. What is hydraulics? It deals with the flow in a pipe or open channel. Okay, so there are so many engineering applications are available for this hydraulics. So engineering people, they use this hydraulics. Their main concept is that the flow in a pipe or in an open channel. Next, we have a gas dynamics. As I explained what is gas, the flow with significant density changes. Density does not remain. That means we always expect that in the gas dynamics, we talk about the compressible fluids. As I told earlier, no? So liquids cannot be compressed, so we call the incompressible. Gas is compressible, so we deals with most of the compressible fluids here. Then we have aerodynamics. You know that in the flow of gases over the bodies, for example, the flow of air over a car. The car is moving. When the car is moving here, so you can see that the flow, the air will flow on that. How that air will flow? When the air comes to that, there is a deviation, change in the direction of the air because of the car or any other automobiles, what we come across, even with the aircraft. And the study of this, we call them as a aerodynamics. And similarly, as I told earlier, we use that in meteorology and oceanography. These are all the naturally occurring flows. The meteorology deals with the environmental thing. So oceanography, what happens when in the ocean, because ocean contains salt as well as heat. Salt content will be there in the ocean, and because of the sun, the natural heating will be there. So they react that, and they give rise to so many new phenomena in the fluid dynamics. So this is a separate branch they study, and we call them as naturally occurring flows. So these are some of the brief or a basic categories of fluid mechanics I chose to. There are so many other things now. There are so many people now within that they say based on the fluids what they use, there are different concepts or different categories of fluid mechanics. So let me just stick on to this for the time being. Okay? Now, before we go to that, let us talk about the stress, the force. So whenever we talk about the force here, actually in fluid mechanics we come across two types of force. One is called body force, another one is called as surface force. What is body force? Body force is the force which acts on the entire body of the. The best example for that is gravitational force, because gravity acts on the entire body of the material. The another one important is surface force. What is surface force? It acts only on the surface here. It acts only on the surface of the fluid surface here. Okay. Now, when you talk about the force here, actually when you look at this, there are two directions of force here. One is along the surface and perpendicular to the surface. The force which is perpendicular to surface, we call it as the normal force, which we write Fn, that's usual notation. And along the surface, we call it the tangential force, that is F. Okay. So these two are perpendicular. So when you take any force acting on this, it is a combination of normal force and a tangential force. Okay. So before we go to this, let me talk about what is a stress. The stress is nothing but it is a force per unit area. Generally, all of you know this is a definition. Those who know about the physics, they know the force applied on that. Whatever the force we have applied on the unit surface area. Suppose if we take unit surface as dA, the force applied on this unit surface area, so that is F, we call it as the stress. So generally, stress is defined as force per unit area. As I told you, there are two directions for the force. One is normal force, another one is tangential force. So the force, the normal force per unit area, because when you talk about this area, both this direction, both the components of force will be there. Okay. So the normal component of the force per unit area we call them as the normal stress. Okay, so normal component of the force with respect to a unit area, we call them as normal force, and the tangential force. Okay, with this we call it as the shearing stress. So depending upon the direction or the force what it acts here, we have two types of stress here. Okay, one is the normal stress, that is the normal force per unit area. Another one is the shearing stress, which is the tangential force per unit area. And there is another type of force we come across, pressure. And all these things, again, once again, this pressure, all the fluid properties, will be defining that in the later stage also. So let me just talk about this because it comes under this stress only. The normal stress in a fluid which is at rest. Remember that? A normal stress, that means the normal force per unit area of a fluid which is at rest, we call that as a pressure here. And this pressure is also physically they define that as a negative force here. Okay. There is another one, zero shear stress. A fluid which is at rest is, we call them as the state of zero shear stress. Okay, so all these are interrelated definitions only. Okay, so this is what we have. So normal and shearing stress, all it is at the surface of a fluid element. For a fluid which is at rest, the zero shear stress is zero, and pressure is only a normal stress. That means, so when the fluid is at rest, now what you understand here is a very important concept here is, when the fluid is at rest, the only force or only stress which acts here is normal stress. So physically, whenever we get a shearing stress as zero, it means that the fluid is at rest here. So you don't find when the fluid is at rest, the shear stress, only stress what we come across here is the normal stress here. Okay, so this is some very important things which we may be using in some of the concepts here, what is stress and other things, and in detail we'll be doing that in the later stage also. Okay, so now how do we study this fluid mechanics? How to study this fluid mechanics? So you may be thinking that this is pure physics, and once if we say fluid mechanics, when we talk about all these things, we talk only about the experimental thing. But how we studying theoretically here? To study them theoretically, we have basic laws here. The four important laws we have. One is conservation of mass, conservation of momentum. This conservation of momentum is based on the Newton's second law. Conservation of energy, that's based on first law of thermodynamics. In some cases, we do the second law of thermodynamics. And what is this conservation of mass, momentum? Later in the conservation of laws we do. So whenever you want to study any problem in fluid mechanics, these laws are very, very essential here. And most of the problems will be based on these laws. Okay, so what we do here is we derive mathematically all these conservation laws here. Okay, using the physics laws, we derive a mathematical equation, and all these equations what we derive, it is mostly on the partial differential equations. Okay, so now it's based on basic laws of physics, and also a very important here is equation of state here. Okay, so what is equation of state? If you take in general, density, it is a function of pressure and temperature. Okay, it is a function of pressure and temperature. For example, you take any fluid, you heat them. Okay, so as you heat, it becomes less dense here. It's less dense. Fluid particles. Suppose if you take a vessel and if you have water and you heat it from below, as you keep heating that, it becomes less dense. The fluid particle will start moving towards the upward direction. So if you make upwards as a if you cool from the upper surface, so what happens, this fluid particle, they will lose the heat, they become heavy and they move downward. So the density changes, what happens, it depends upon the temperature. Similarly, it depends upon the pressure also. So we have to define how this density is related to the pressure and temperature. Okay, that we call it as the equation of state here. And next we have this basic laws of physics, or whatever the 4 laws we have, the equation of state. Sometimes they are not consistent. Mathematically, they are not consistent. We may not able to solve that equation. So whenever we apply some extra force, for example, if you apply a magnetic field here, so we need another law to ground that magnetic fields here, or electric fields like that. So for that, what we do, we also have that constitutive laws here. What is that constitutive laws? These are the conservation of mass, momentum, energies for a general case. But when you take constitutive laws, it is a relation between the stress and the deformation of material. What is deformation of material? It is a rate of strain here. Okay, so it is a relation between the stress and rate of strain that defines actually the equation. When you use this constitutive equation in the above conservation laws, you will get that as the governing equation of that fluid here. Okay, so this constitutive laws will play a very, very important role here. So we have a topic on non-Newtonian and non-Newtonian fluids. There we talk in length about the constitutive laws and what are the constitutive equation for different non-Newtonian fluids. Okay, so by using this mathematical concepts, or this is the theory, we are going to study any fluid mechanics problems here. So we need conservation of laws, equation of state, and the constitutive laws. Okay, so let me see next here. Now, when we talk about fluid mechanics, there are 2 forms. The motion is very, very important. So we have to describe the motion of a fluid mechanics. But in fluid mechanics, what we have, there are 2 ways of describing the fluid motion. So it is based on one given by Euler. We call them as Eulerian flow of description, and the next one is the Lagrange, what we call it as the Lagrangian flow of description. So how we can describe the flow motion? It is given by these 2 eminent mathematicians. One is the Euler and other one is Lagrangian, and it is named as the Eulerian and Lagrangian flow of descriptions. So let me see that what is Eulerian flow of description and the Lagrangian flow of description. Now what we do here, what is the difference between these 2? Okay, so in Eulerian method, what we do, we fix a point. I choose one fixed point instead of following a particular fluid particle. Instead of fixing a fluid particle, what I do, I fix a point in a fluid flow. I just concentrate on that point and study all the fluid particles that passes through that fixed point. Okay, so in Eulerian method, what we do, we just concentrate on a fixed point and we study all the fluid particle which passes through that fixed point. Similarly, in Lagrangian, what we do here is, I'm not going to fix a point here. Instead of fixing a point in a fluid flow, I concentrate on one particular fluid particle. I choose one particular fluid particle and study its motion. I'll study the entire motion at all the points and the time, at all the times here. Okay, so this is a major difference between the Eulerian and Lagrangian methods here. Okay, we'll come to the later which one we have to use, that which is more this one. So what we do here is, in Eulerian method, in a fluid flow, we fix a fixed point and we study all the fluid particles which passes through that fixed point. But in Lagrangian one, what we do, we fix a particular fluid particle and we follow it. We follow the fluid particle and study its motion at all the time and at all the given points. So what exactly we are doing in Lagrangian? The Lagrangian method gives actually the history of each fluid particle. I can find in Lagrangian method the history of each fluid particle. So we can illustrate that with this. So Eulerian means you can see that there is a fixed position here. There is a fixed position, and this that means a fixed point. Okay. What we can talk about the frame of reference here is the frame of reference is fixed here. The frame of reference is fixed, and we are studying all the fluid particle which passes through this fixed point here. Okay. Similarly, when you talk about this Lagrangian, here we are following a fluid particle. That means I have to follow that fluid particle and study all its motion at all the given time and all that the points. So here the frame of reference is moving here. Okay. So even you can talk this about the fixed frame of reference and moving frame of reference. Okay. So this gives a clear picture about what is the difference between the Eulerian method and the Lagrangian method. Okay. So now let me see here how we can represent mathematically this Eulerian and Lagrangian method. So what I do here is I just take a origin here. Let P naught be a point at t time t equal to t naught, and I'll assume that the position vector of this P naught as x naught, and after the some time t, okay, the same fluid particle will occupy the position P, and I'm assuming that the position vector of this point P as x. So what we do in some textbook, they refer this point where the point P lies, this region as the initial configuration, and where the point P lies, where the point P naught lies is the initial configuration, and the region where the point P lies, we call them as current configuration. So I have a point in the initially when time t equal to t naught, the particle is in the initial configuration, whose position vector we take it as x naught, and then after some time t, so the particle will move to this point P, whose position vector is x, and we call this as the current configuration. Okay. Now let us see the next one here. So what happens in the Eulerian description? Okay, so in Eulerian description, we find that in Eulerian description, what is the Eulerian description? We concentrate on a particular point. I'll assume that that particular point as x naught, a fixed point, and I'll study all the fluids or what is happening at that point as the time progresses. So in the Eulerian description, always the initial configuration, it's a fixed one, will be a function of the current configuration, because I'm fixing a point. The point which I fixed is x naught, whose position vector is x naught, I assume, and I'm studying at that point all the particle which moves into that. So it is a current configuration. That means, so in the Eulerian description, always we have x naught. There is a function of x and t here. That is, the initial configuration is a function of the current configuration and time. Similarly, when you take Lagrangian, what we are doing in a Lagrangian, it is not, point is not fixed, but the particle is fixed and we are moving along with the fluid particle. The particle is fixed, but we are moving along with the fluid particle. So I'm in a current configuration. I'm moving with fluid particle means I'll be in the current configuration, but there should be a point where it starts. That is the initial configuration. So in Lagrangian description, what we do here is we write always the current configuration as a function of initial configuration and the time. It is clear? Okay, so these two will actually differentiate when we write some expressions or some any physical system which governs the flow in a mathematically. So if it is in terms of current configuration and time, so we call it the Eulerian description, and the current one it is in terms of the initial, we call that as a Lagrangian. So by looking at that, how the equations or what functions we have independent variables, I can talk about the independent variables here. So I can easily identify what type of description we are using, whether it is a Eulerian description or whether it is a Lagrangian description. Is it clear? Okay, so let me see the next one here. The Eulerian description, we also refer that as the spatial description. The reason is, when you talk about Eulerian, it is a function of current configuration. Suppose if you take a fixed point as x naught, y naught, z naught, and a time as t naught, and the current one as x, y, z, and t. Okay, so it's a function of x, y, and z, t. So we call this a spatial description, and Lagrangian description is referred as the material description. So some of the textbooks, they use this spatial description and material description. Okay, but which one we have to use generally? Generally, in almost all the problems, we make use of the Eulerian description, because so what is Lagrangian gives? I have to follow a fluid particle, correct? It is not possible to track each fluid particle because the flow of fluid is very complex. Because the flow of fluid is very complex, it is not possible for me to find out or to study the history of each particle. Therefore, so Lagrangian description is rarely used in fluid mechanics. Most of the theory what the people will derive, it will be a Eulerian description. So now we did just a basic things. The very important first part is how we can describe a motion in a fluid, the flow here. That is, one is Lagrangian flow, the other Eulerian flow, or Eulerian description and Lagrangian description. So as I explained, so you can have another example also. You stand on a seashore, you just observe on a particular point in a sea. So that gives a Eulerian, because you are fixed. You are fixed on the seashore, you are observing a particular point on the shore. Suppose if you go in a boat, okay, if you go travel in a boat, what happens when you travel in a boat? You can follow the fluid particle. You are just following the fluid particle. So that what we call it as the Lagrangian description. There are so many other examples the people will give about the traffic police standing in a circle is a Eulerian, and if you follow something with it, they call so many other description. If you see different books, they give different examples on this. So it's very clear that frame of reference fixed is a Eulerian motion, the frame of reference is moving is a Lagrangian. But now we have two types. How to come across this? So what we do, we find a relation, or before that, we'll see the time derivative. Okay, so we have a derivatives with respect to Eulerian and Lagrangian, because both are functions of time here, we can find a derivative with respect to time. So those things we call it as the local time derivative and the individual time derivative. So the Eulerian description we call it as the local time derivative, and because when you talk about the Eulerian, the space is fixed, the point is fixed there. Only what the changes we come across, only the time changes there. So that we call it as the derivative of any physical quantity in Eulerian description. With respect to time, we call it as the local derivative. But in Lagrangian, what happens here? We are following a fluid particle at every point in a flow, at every instant of time we are finding a derivative. We call them as the individual derivative, or it is also called as material time derivative. So let us define what is this here. Okay. To define that, let us take phi b, any physical quantity which is a function of x and t. Look at this, as I told you that x is the current configuration. This physical quantity phi It is a function of the current and time here. So it is very clear that I'm defining this in the Eulerian description. I'm defining this in a Eulerian description. Okay. So the partial derivative of phi. Okay. The partial derivative of phi with respect to time t, which x is fixed. Remember, x is fixed here. The partial derivative of phi with respect to time t is given by this dou phi by dou t, which is nothing but dou phi by dou t of xd, where x is fixed. X is fixed, so we are differentiating with respect to time. So this derivative, the usual derivative, we call this as the local time derivative. We call them as the local time derivative. Suppose if I take the another one here, I take f. F is any physical quantity, but I have defined that in terms of x naught comma t. X naught is the initial one. Okay, so now I am defining this physical quantity as a function of initial configuration. Is it not? It means that what I am defining the physical, f may be any physical, and even remember this phi and f, I just took this as scalar. It need not be scalar also. It can be a vector. I can define the vector thing, that is velocity, acceleration, everything I can define here. Okay. So if f is any physical quantity which represents a fluid flow, as I have defined this as an initial configuration at time, so what happens here? This is in the Lagrangian description. So what all I defined here, it is in a Lagrangian description. So I'm going to find the partial derivative of f with respect to t, but what is happening here? I have to fix this x naught here. Note down the difference between the local and the derivative what I'm defining. The local derivative, I have fixed x, now I'm fixing here x naught. Okay, so I define this as dou f by dou t, that is with dou f x naught by dou t with x naught fixed. But look at that, there is a confusion. Dou phi by dou t, even I can write here f also. Here I can write phi also. But how do you distinguish between the local and the material derivative? So what we do for a material derivative, we don't represent that as dou f by dou t, but we represent that as df by dt. So whenever you come across this, only a notation just to distinguish between the local and this is what we call as a material derivative, just to distinguish between the local and material derivative. So we denote this as df by dt. So remember, in local derivative, x is fixed. In material derivative, df by dt, that is also a dou f by dou t, but x naught is fixed here. Okay, so this is what we have, a derivative, time derivative with respect to Eulerian and Lagrangian. So with this background of the local and material time derivative, so we can find a relation between these two here. Okay, relation between df by dt and dou f by dou t. So what will be the relation between this? So this relation will help us in the conservation laws here. How we can define a relation between local and the material time derivative, or we can also call them as the Lagrangian and Eulerian relation. Okay, so this is what I'm going to stop at this because the derivation we have to explain you. So I'm going to take up that in the next session. What do you answer?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for enhancing our understanding of some of the basics of the fluid dynamics, which forms a strong foundation of the subject. Dear participants, I have few important announcements. We request you to note the following criteria to be eligible for the participation certificate. All the participants shall receive a registration link on each day of the workshop. There are two different links, one for registration and another for joining the event. As soon as you register, you can use the instruction manual provided to you to register. As soon as you register, you will get the joining link, and the link is new for each day. Registration email ID should be the same throughout the webinar. That is, the email ID used by you for registration today should be used for registration till the last day of the workshop. Attendance of all participants is being monitored by our panelists on all days, and attendance is an important criteria to avail the e-certificate. Now, with respect to the feedback forms, there will be 4 feedback forms after the completion of sessions by each resource person. There are 4 resource persons for the entire course of Fluid Dynamics program. After each resource person's completion of the entire session, 1 feedback form would be sent. So there would be a total of 4 feedback forms. If in case there are any other clarification, you can mail us on the email address given to you in the chat box. With this, we come to the end of today's session. Hope to meet you for tomorrow's session.
Sir, if there are
Yes, sir.
any clarification, we can ask that. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
What all we have covered till today? If there are any clarification, I can.
Participants are requested to post their questions in the chat box.
Yeah, that part I'll explain you the next. The next it will come. So next I'll why it is the material time derivative. I'll explain that in the next session. Yeah, I think that's all. I think there's no more questions. I think so. And so over to you.
Yes, sir. So there will be no feedback form for today. Once the entire session is over from